I dreamed once that I was happy and I slept soundly thinking it was true. The dream was of no specific thing, but rather a lack of all things, and which consisted of me drifting through an infinite darkness, conscious only enough to realize that I had disappeared from this world. And when I awoke I realized that reality had ceased to exist, and a dread crept over me in such a way that I was more certain of it than I had been of anything else in my entire life. Against my will I began to tremble in a terrible fear of nothing at all. Light streamed through a gap in the curtains of my room, but I saw it not, for my eyes landed instantly instead on my open closet door and the void the darkness created within it. Dread propagated through me in waves to the tempo of my ever faster beating heart. I was scared not of what was in the darkness, but indeed of what was not and what could never be. Despite my fear I was drawn inexorably to it. I could not tear my eyes from what my soul had seen. All sound and light faded from my consciousness. I was as if blind to all else but the darkness. I focused intently, intensely on the emptiness and all that it represented. A terrible mix of dread and envy, of fear and longing, swept through my veins and into the depths of my soul. Like a drunk man, I stumbled from my bed and toward the gaping void, and a rising cacophony of conflicting emotions began to override any logical thought, and I faded into a panicked frenzy as I clawed my way towards the darkness. Tears streamed down my cheeks and my chest heaved with each struggling breath as I got closer and closer to the event horizon. And as I crawled across the floor I found myself suddenly under the scrutiny of the ray of light streaming through my curtain, and an intense guilt washed over the entirety of my being. I stopped crawling and stared in an awed silence at the light. Like with the darkness, I felt utterly blinded by it, and I felt my face contort, pained by its intensity. The light became my entirety and I saw nothing but whiteness all around me. And like with the darkness, I felt the same feelings of dread and envy, of fear and longing, wash over me against my will. It was simultaneously exactly the same feelings and yet very different feelings. The feelings of the dark felt as though provided by fear of the light, and the feelings of the light felt as though provided by fear of the dark. And as I saw each individually, I realized suddenly that I was still asleep and I was still dreaming. For when I viewed one I could not see the other, and one cannot view light without the context of the dark, nor view dark without the context of the light. I pried my eyes open and sat forcefully up in my bed, desperately gasping in breaths as if I had never breathed before. And with both eyes now open I saw both the window and the closet, the light and the dark, life and death, and I knew that I was awake, and I wept. We truly hope you enjoyed the story. Give us feedback. We love to hear from our viewers. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for always watching. Good night.